Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And now we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, it's Thanksgiving, what are you grateful for-worthy week podcast. Today is Monday, the 23rd of November, 2020. Good morning, Kristy. How are you?
Good morning, Summers. I am fine and dandy. How are you?
I am wonderful. I have had a very busy, very long morning with a delighted little girl who probably has like 1,000 words in her vocabulary and decided to say them all at once at about 4:30 a.m. But I'm really feeling incredibly blessed, incredibly grateful, and just kind of at peace. We have a huge amount of work ahead of us at the Optimist Daily, and the world is definitely hitting some stress points, but I have my optimistic practices and I'm good. I'm good. I'm getting by and ready for a good week. A different Thanksgiving week than most anyone has previously experienced. I know that we're all changing our Thanksgiving expectations and experiences, but we're going to still cook the meal. We're going to still cook a big Thanksgiving. But, you know, we've got 5 people in our house, and my older kid's mom, their biological mom, is going to be here, too, because she's part of our quarantine pod. We'll have a pretty lovely Thanksgiving to look forward to as well.
Similarly for us, we've canceled any plans to do anything with anyone outside of our immediate household. We were going to do like a socially distant outdoor barn room Thanksgiving kind of thing, but we decided that having 4 different households come together was a little too risky, so we're just going to do our own little pod here. Although I am exchanging a full trimmings Thanksgiving meal, which is being prepared by my household, with my next door neighbor who's making 2 pumpkin pies. So we're going to get a pumpkin pie in exchange for a turkey dinner.
So are you a pumpkin pie girl?
I am not, in fact, but that doesn't mean that I'm not at all. In fact, when I was a little girl, one of the first Thanksgivings I remember, I was helping to make the pumpkin pies, and I really enjoyed eating the pumpkin pie mix with all the eggs and everything that was in it, which led to a terrible night of vomiting.
Oh, goodness.
Ever since, I've never really been a fan of the pumpkin pie kind of flavorings.
That'll do it for you. Well, I'm a huge pumpkin pie person. I love all the spicy cakes, carrot cake, pumpkin pie. That's my flavor. And my son, our son is a tremendous baker. And so he is taking on pumpkin pie this year. So we're going to have a pumpkin pie made from scratch. And if I know him well enough, I know he'll make 2 or 3 till he gets it right. So we will have pumpkin pie for weeks.
Okay.
In the freezer.
Well, I'm going to introduce to our family a new staple for Thanksgiving, which is a flan, which I talked about before, but I have mastered that, and my husband is from Mexico originally, so he loves that, and we're adding that to our traditional Thanksgiving this year.
I'm excited for your Thanksgiving. I'm excited for mine. Kristy, what headline got you inspired this morning?
Well, the headline reads, "As cases rise in the U.S., Vermont serves as a model for virus containment." The reason that this headline stood out to me and this article stood out to me was the first couple sentences, and I'll read those here. "As coronavirus cases spike again in the U.S., residents are being encouraged to once again hunker down in their homes. But what if you don't have a home to shelter in? There's a 25% COVID infection rate among homeless Americans, but one state stands out as an outliner, and that is Vermont. The state has an infection rate of less than 1% among homeless residents. And caring for that homeless population is just one cog in the state's comprehensive virus response." And the reason that I wanted to highlight that is, I mean, we're going to be talking about homes, I think, and some of the other stories from today's headlines about the built environment and the importance of supporting vulnerable populations. So to me, this is the sign of a healthy society. It's not how well the best off of us are doing, but how well are we taking care of the least well off among us, right?
Yes.
And so Vermont is an outlier in a positive way because they really have done a lot of work to support the people who live in that state, including those who are unsheltered. I like to use that sometimes instead of homeless. I don't know. There's something about that.
Well, let's just dive into that because there are a lot of elements that go into homousness, right? Homelessness is a condition. It is a challenge. It's very difficult to get out of.
It's not a identity.
People are homeless for various reasons. And certainly through the pandemic, we have seen a tremendous increase in homelessness that's coming from just financial situations, nothing to do with addiction or any other sort of mental health issues. There is simply a unsheltered community that have lost their homes during this unprecedented and challenging time.
Yeah.
And many states have done a lot to try to protect people and keep them in their homes during this time. But that doesn't change the fact that basic income and the requirements and the cost of shelter often exceeds the basic earnings that are capable during this pandemic.
Right.
And, California has a tremendous homeless problem, and there are different areas that are working on it. But I love what this story shares and enlightens us a bit is that Vermont has not only minimized their homeless population's exposure to coronavirus, but they have also minimized their homeless population.
Exactly. And because they looked at it systemically and systematically and not blaming the victim, which I think is what often happens, it's a societal problem.
Yeah.
And housing is a societal problem, and it's far cheaper to pay to keep somebody sheltered than it is to pay for all of the consequences of those people living in an unsheltered situation. Mm-hmm. So what Vermont did was they actually made sure that everyone who was without a permanent residence actually had a place to go. They contracted with local motels to give housing to those individuals. They also did more than that. They offered hazard pay to all essential workers making less than $25 an hour, which is a measure that is helping more than 35,000 frontline workers. And they're now considering stipends for individuals who must self-isolate because of virus exposure to keep people safe from you. So that to me is
a holistic solution.
It's a holistic solutions-oriented methodology that's interested in actually bringing the virus down and crushing it as opposed to letting it be chaotic and wild in the population, which leads to a terrible economy. So solving the virus is the key, right?
Yeah. I read something the other day, and I'm not sure who said it or where it came from, but the mitigation of the coronavirus and the resolution of the economy are one and the same.
Exactly.
And they work in tandem. And I think that the individualistic nature where we are combative against homelessness, and I often hear this not in my backyard quality of conversation here in California, where it's, the homelessness, it's such a problem, and I don't want to wear my mask. Well, guys, the things that you're feeling and saying and doing where you're isolated and individualistic, that has negative repercussions on the economy. That choice, that behavior, that singular focus of self-identity above community actually reduces productivity and affluence in community.
Yeah.
So
it makes it harder for all of us to get ahead. Yeah. Honestly.
So exactly. So instead of being preachy, what we're going to go back to is the solution. And the solution is what Vermont has done. And we're really proud of that. And I will get off my soapbox.
Okay. Get off your soapbox. And why don't you get onto your modular home?
Exactly.
Box,
my modular 3D printed home story. So there are two stories on the Optimist Daily. One is about 3D printed homes in Germany. Super interesting. We're kind of running out of time, so I will jump into the other story, which was the focus. It reads, this company rapidly builds modular homes for homeless. The Bay Area, as we've talked about, California has a tremendous homelessness crisis. And development projects that house the unsheltered are typically really long, require tremendous permitting, and have a high cost of construction, almost up to $500,000 just to shelter 4 to 8 people. A California-based company called Connect Homes is now working with cities in the area to fill this gap by quickly, efficiently building tiny modular homes that house 4 units with a full kitchen living area at a cost of about $20,000 per unit. The CEO of the company, Gordon Stott, co-founder, I guess, of the company, is quoted as reading, "When the pandemic hit, we looked around and saw that not only has California had this very long-standing homelessness issue, but maybe it's the right time to provide a new type of solution." The pandemic has taught us that we must pivot, that we must rethink the paths that we have to be ready to start over and start again. The solutions that may have worked in the past might not work now, but that doesn't mean we just throw out the knowledge. Let's take that knowledge and move forward. And I love what Connect Homes is doing. It's a very simple solution that needs to work, like Vermont has done, in tandem with all of the other efforts and energies to reduce the unsheltered populations in the United States or in the area. But this is a private company, a for-profit business that is doing good and doing well, and I love to see what they are growing. So far, they've already got 88 bedrooms for semi-permanent installation, 22 of which have been completed since the order was placed in October. So well done.
And the thing we're focused on the quotes on the unsheltered, those who are really experiencing homelessness, but that's not the only population. All of us are pressured by housing right now in this state and in many places around the country because there's just the lack of supply. And so having the ability to construct the same type of house for $20,000 per unit as opposed to $500,000 per room, that's a tremendous solution, right? Well, and so it can lower the cost to make more affordable housing so that more people can feel comfortable with the housing that they have available to them.
Right. Well, and we get to take a look at our office structures, our housing structure.
Exactly. Yeah.
High density working and urban environments that used to be offices can easily become, well, not easily, but efficiently become potential homes. So there are great solutions ahead, and I'm glad people are taking it on.
Yes, so, and you know what, Summers, we got to run.
Yes, we've got our next meeting that we have to get to. But real quick, the other headlines that you can read on the Optimist Daily, let's see. There's 7 tips to become an expert thrift shopper. Women who follow this diet are 30% less likely to develop diabetes.
Spoiler, it's the Mediterranean diet, if in case you're wondering. But go read the article.
Waste milk could be used to capture carbon emissions out of the air. When I read that, I was like, why would I waste milk? Because I only think about breast milk. Bask in nature's mystique with this brilliant photo gallery. Really cute stuff. First global map of bee species. Texas farm hosting the country's biggest solar farm. Very excited on that one. That is a great solution based on area. And then the tiny owl rescued from the Rockefeller Christmas tree, if you want a real heartwarming story. And that's it. That's it today on the Optimist Daily.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to us today on the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share these positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in the changing world and help ensure it is changed for the good. We promise to keep covering current events with accuracy, legitimate sources, and keep offering you the information needed most to chart new paths for all of us.
Please consider becoming an emissary on theoptimistdaily.com, and for just $5 a month, support reader-funded independent journalism. Be part of the solution-changing consciousness in addressing our world's biggest challenges with a problem-solving mindset. Let's keep the Optimist Daily free to all who need it, supported by those who can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Monday.
Hasta la vista.